Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check Oboro's renewal. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Also, comment on what you think about this character after the renewal. Do you like it? Do you not like the changes? This is not exactly a let's play like I usually do. It's because I don't have her at level 81 and I need my characters to be level 81 to do those so that I can use the awakening skills and I can show exactly which are the best builds for this one. So we're gonna check Oboro. Obviously, she got a new model, which is pretty nice. Her eyes are particularly good. She has a leader skill. Reduces the duration of stun, groggy, and slow debuffs by 50%. It doesn't say if it's for all characters or just for herself, so that's something that we gotta see. Um, sorry. So it is a good effect for her. So now she focuses a lot on controlling the enemy with her new debuff, which is pretty nice. Her new debuff is called Mind Control. This is gonna be 100% slow, basically, but it doesn't fall under the slow category. It's a different kind of buff, but it's basically the same effect. 100% the speed reduction. That means the enemy is not going to move. So yeah, um, by not by reducing the amount of time that you're gonna be debuffed, you can do more actions and you can constantly use your control over the enemy. So it is fine for Oboro to have this. I know it is not the most busted thing. Like for example, maybe you want the character to have a buff like an attack buff like Spinel, or do something different. But I think this particular effect just synergizes pretty well with what Oboro wants to do now. So you cannot see it, but in the back I have the news, and it says balancing adjustments for Oboro. So visual effect animations updated, yes. New ability, yes. And here the skills. So the first thing that we have is a slot effect of the skill Vicious Slasher was changed. And which is that? It's the one green effect. Previously, that's not the only change. The attack also changed. It used to be some slashes, like wind slashes, that would go in front and to the sides to some degree, something like a cone, and it was an excellent farming skill and damaging skill. It's unfortunate that we had to substitute that to. This vicious slasher is not that bad either, but I just like the other one better. It's that. So the previous one would give 2 extra hits. It says increase the number of attacks by 2. So now that this is a different kind of attack that launches kunais, they decided to change the effect, and it makes total sense. So you're gonna have five kunais, and then you're going to pull the characters towards the enemies towards the character, even if they have super armor, and that's pretty nice because of how Spinel, no, not Spinel, Oboro plays nowadays, because of Hypnosis Seal, because of Shadow Strike. So it is good that you get the enemies within your area of attack. So let's see. The next one is going to be slot effect of Shadow Strike has been partially modified. Shadow Strike, this one. So it says that the assist type effect, the set 1 assist type supporter, increase the number of attacks by no. Assist type supporter set main inflicts bleed of 60% of damage for 6 seconds. That one change to mind control target for 3 seconds. It is way better. The bleed was not doing anything for us, so now that this skill also applies mind control, that's great. It's amazing. And the good thing about it is that it works on the main. So you can use this on mixed builds to control the enemy super easily. Then we have several slot effects of the skill Wicked Slash have been partially modified. Wicked Slasher. So Wicked Slasher not only changed the effects, but also the attack itself. It used to be kind of a piercing attack where you would pass through the enemy and just deal damage. But now, after you do that, you see that it starts doing some slashes on the enemy. That's great. That's amazing. Because you're gonna deal more hits. That's nice. So, Assist type supporter increases speed by 20% for 8 seconds. Well, now that's gonna get a buff and it's gonna be 10 seconds, not 8 seconds. As you can see, it says 10. Then, Suppress type supporter decreases the target's speed by 30% for 15 seconds. Might control the target for 5 seconds. Yeah, I did like the speed reduction, but there's something that we have to see. So, wait a moment. Speed, yeah. Which is it? Suppress the effect of the skill hypnosis. No. So this used to have a speed reduction. I don't know why it says that. Did both blue and red have the same effect? It says decrease the target's speed by 30% for 5 seconds. And now it gives mind control with suppress. But we still have the speed reduction. And that's super good. So it doesn't say that they change the blue one here on the notes. But I guess they put that effect onto the blue. And I don't know what was the previous blue. If you know, you can share in the comments what it was. But it is nice that we still have the speed reduction if you want to go for speed reduction. Though my control is better, but the speed reduction lasts longer, so there's pros and cons about it. Then the next one is going to be, let's see, Hypnosis Seal has partially been modified, and the AoE of the skill when setting 2 assist type supporters has been increased. So Hypnosis Seal increase effective range to 100%. That sounds extremely weird. So that means that the skill is never at 100% its capacity, and it's at 100% capacity when it has 2 green. Is that it? You have to say extend the range, not extend the range by, not extend the range to. But, well, okay, I get what they mean. Basic effects. Seal up to 3 enemies around you for 5 seconds when doing an extreme dodge. Now it's going to be mind control up to 3 enemies around you for 5 seconds when doing an extreme dodge. So it is the same effect, but applying the new debuff. Instead of being a speed reduction of 100%, it's mind control, which does exactly the same, but it's a different debuff. And for those who do not know, that is very valuable because it works on machines. Machines are immune to slow, but they're not immune to mind control. Okay? Let's see. The next one says, a slot effect of the skill Flash Step has been partially modified. Set to protect supporters. Increase critical rate by 15% for 5 seconds. Mind control the target for 3 seconds. So yeah, we can see it here. Flash Step. It's gonna give us mind control. This used to be the skill for buffing yourself. And I gotta admit, I'm willing to change that critical rate for mind control, because critical rate you can get just by increasing your enchantment level. So it's no problem to give up that effect just to get the mind control. It's way better, the mind control. And let's see. The last one. The command and slot effect of the skill Blooming Carnage has been partially modified. Blooming Carnage, Blooming Carnage, Blooming Carnage. Oh, this one. The one that I never used because I never had. So it says the original was set to suppress supporters. Makes the enemy groggy. Ew. Reduce the enemy's speed by 20% for 8 seconds. Yeah, that's good, that's good. So this is new. All of these effects are actually good. And the fact the AoE is pretty nice. I don't think they buffed this one. I think they buffed this skill when they released the character pack. It has super armor. It reduces damage taken. It adds additional speed and a knockback effect on the final blow. So it is a pretty good skill. Don't neglect this one. Okay. Unfortunately, Carnage Dance hasn't been modified. This is now it's viable because of how she plays, because she can stop the enemy, but it's still kind of not great. It just is. It became viable, but it isn't that impressive either. Reduces damage taken during normal attacks. Now this effect is obsolete. That's the problem, because you're not going to get hit by the enemy when doing this. Although useful because you're set in place, you would like something else like increasing critical rate. In fact, I would have preferred that Gremory change Carnage Dance so that it was this new vicious slasher. It would have been better. Deals additional consecutive damage, increase additional consecutive attack, and increase damage. So yeah, you can use this now. And unfortunately, they didn't change the Crescent Bloom. They should have changed Crescent Bloom to make something. Maybe for this one, this new attack should have been the Crescent Bloom, in my opinion, or Carnage Dance. But the original Vicious Lasher, God, I miss it. Why, Gremory? Why? Well, anyways, let's start checking what she can do. For that, we're gonna go to Arena. Arena Tower. Here I have a Oboro. So, I'm gonna start with green. So, yeah, what are we doing here? Vicious Lasher to gather the enemies. And once they're gathered, we're gonna use Hypnosis Seal. And also Flash Step to increase damage. But you can change to different things, Flash Step. If you don't like Flash Step, you can go with Wicked Slasher to increase your speed. You can go with Shadow Strike to get more control over the enemy. This is a great idea because you're going to gather the enemy, and this only affects 3 enemies. On a stage with multiple enemies, this is not enough. So maybe you want to use this. I'm going to use Flash Step. Even so. Obviously, as you saw, what am I using here? I'm using the weapon. It's 1 out of 5. This restores HP based on the number of enemies that get debuffed each time you apply a debuff. So I'm only going to apply 1 debuff. So it's not the greatest HP restoration. But it's there. I also get damage increase on mind control. And I got penetration. Penetration is nice. Anti-demon, melee, and anti-demon elements. Whatever Magatamas, 5 out of 5. Non-enchanted. Let's see, what else? Suruga, Akane, and Kowaru. These used to be extremely busted. Now, I miss Vicious Slasher. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it was the best attack that she had. And though this plays effectively, I don't like it. Uh, I mean, I do like it, but I would have preferred to see that effect on something different. Maybe on the red skill. Yeah, because the red skill is still pretty obsolete in my opinion. Well, not as much as it used to, because now the enemy is not going to attack you, so you can abuse it. No, I forgot the command. This one, like this, active to deal damage. Excellent. So yeah, pretty nice as you can see. Obviously, I'm shredding the enemy because of my damage increase and the critical damage provided by the supporters. But if you want more control, I suggest that you use, instead of Flash Step, Shadow Strike. The problem with Shadow Strike is a kind of counterattack. The good thing about this one is that it's unlike other counterattacks because it nullifies the damage that you would receive. And that's amazing. Let's see. So the next build is going to be with red, so that you can see red. So Oboro red is going to use, obviously, Carnage Dance, Hypnosis Seal. The increased duration is nice. 8 seconds of mind control is amazing, especially when using Carnage Dance. And Wicked Slasher to get another way to do mind control. So yeah, it's pretty good. So you can start with. I prefer to start with Hypnosis Seal, then do Carnage, then use Wicked. Come on, this. Oh, it's during normal attacks. So one more time. Okay, I'm gonna do this just to keep the enemies in place, and they're dead now. So gather like that. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, now this skill works, but really, like, the one that I think they should have changed for that pulling effect is the launching attack. Definitely, that's the one that they needed to change. Maybe they didn't need to do it that busted, just like usable to gather the enemies, like something minor that can be done. Oh, come on. Oh, I need to reposition myself. Wicked Slasher, yes. And, oh, let me do my thing. Oh, yeah, nice. Okay, Wicked Slasher. I love this. The amount of control that this gives. It's just amazing. And look how I eliminate all of my enemies very quickly. I didn't check the build, right? It is the same weapon, but I did change the supporters. So we're gonna check that in just a moment. Nice. And there we go. Nice, 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 Oboro. So, what are the supporters? I'm going critical damage. So, obviously, I'm going to use Anna Rose because she's a demon. So, she increases Oboro's critical damage and her max HP. And it also gave me HP recovery. That's pretty nice for Oboro. But if you don't want to use this on the main, it's fine. Barretta, of course, to increase damage and critical damage. And Shirayuki. Generic good. You can change Shirayuki in this specific stage for Lina. Where is Lina? Lina. You can also use Estella. You can also use Susune. You can also use Kirara. You can use Yukina. You can use New Year you can cast it. There's a ton of options for red. It's pretty easy to use. So yeah, even Gal Lilim, you know. Now the next one, and the weapon, yeah, it's exactly the same as I told you. The next one is gonna be let's go with pure blue, but I'm going to change this so I don't use this. I want something different because this is exactly the same build as last time. Uh, let's see, do I get a buff? No. Is she blue? No. Using this is not a bad idea, but I don't have enough copies. I guess I'll keep it because I don't have anything better. Yay! If I had more copies of Heaviko, I would use Heaviko, no doubt about it. Actually, I can use this one. Yeah, I can use Micah. This doesn't debuff, so it doesn't, right? No, it doesn't. So I'll keep this. This is 10 seconds and this is 12 seconds. I'm gonna put this on the main to get a better debuff. Why? To increase my damage because of Micah. Micah is going to deal more damage on debuffed enemies. And what are we going to do here? We're gonna be using Flash Step because it gives mind control. Hypnosis Seal because it ensnares the enemies. Well, it gives mind control. And of course we're gonna use Bloodstorm. And this is part of the problem of Oboro, that now the new Oboro wants to always use mind control and skills that provide mind control, which limits what she can do. I mean, technically, yes, you could go with the skills that don't inflict mind control, like this one, but counterattack knockbacks the enemy. This is pretty bad. They should have also changed this effect. Uh, let's see. Decreases target speed. This one is okay. Increases the speed. This one is okay. Flash step. It's okay. Ensnare. It's okay. I would show you this build with these two and Bloodstorm, but I cannot because I am not on the right level. So let's see. So I want to ensnare the enemies and then I want to just attack. No, not ensnare. Mind control the enemies. Just like this. Come on, attack, attack, attack. Okay, if you're not going to attack, I'm going to do so. Nice. Pretty easy, you see? So, come on, there. I'm going to use the active just to deal a debuff on the enemies so that I can deal more damage with my skills. Just the base damage of that skill was amazing. Like 100,000 damage. That's nice. But of course, the problem of using Micah is that my basic attacks are not going to be enhanced. It's only skill damage. Keep that in mind. I cannot use Akane to gain any kind of damage increase because I don't have buffs. Nice, nice, nice. And look at the amount of HP that I recover when I use the supporter. It's pretty nice. I'm going to use the active here. There. Nice. Not the active, the ulti. Yeah. So it is preferable that Oboro, when you're using the weapon, uses a main supporter that inflicts a debuff, especially on all enemies, not just on an area. And lastly, we're gonna check the mix build. So this is, in my opinion, one of the best builds that you can use because you're gonna have more control. This is particularly good for VR. So obviously we're using Hypnosis Seal and we're using Mind Control. Depending on what you're tackling, you may want to do it differently. For example, no, you cannot do it this different. I was thinking like increase the duration would be nice, but the other mind control on red is this one, so that's a problem. So the only way to do this is with 2 blue and 1 green on the main. So Flash Step, Mind Control, Hypnosis Seal, Mind Control, Shadow Strike, Mind Control. This is, it has some disadvantages because you're gonna heavily rely on the basics. But if you're using Oboro as a supporter on VR, you don't care about that. In fact, you can build her tank instead of this. This is thought to be damage by herself. But if you go to VR, I suggest you use, let's see, for example, Hebiko. You can use Sakuya. You can use limited Blackbeard Kirara to gain HP. You can use also Akina. Let's see. You can use Arabella, of course. And on the main, there's different things. You can use Hisui, of course. You can use Yuno, but I do not recommend Yuno. If you're poisoning the enemy, you can use Ichika. If you can use Ingrid, of course. You can use, what else is defensive? You can use, of course, Misaki because she gives HP recovery. You can use the 3 founding, and of course Hebiko. Hebiko is good for anyone who attacks and wants to receive hits too. Here I'm using Lapis to increase my speed because, as I said, this heavily relies on basic attacks. But if you're doing the roles, the supporter role, you don't need the attack speed. So keep that in mind. So let's see. Okay. Nice. Nice. And there's an advantage of using Hebiko because, as you can see, I am going to inflict the poison on the enemies very easily because all my skills inflict debuffs. There. I use the active, and I didn't teleport, as you can see. Not always are you going to teleport when using the... no, this is not... I thought it was Lapis, but it's not. Sorry about that. So it's just whatever active to deal with them. And now I just do this. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, that's great for control. Oh my god. Why you so evil, Yuki? There. Now I can hit them, and yes, look at that. They are unable to do anything, and I get a ton of HP just cause. Excellent. So yeah, this is probably her best build as a debuffer, the mix with blue and green. Unfortunately, even though red is strong, yes, it only has Hypnosis Seal for mixed builds. If you're using two red, it's nice, and maybe you can use the main green, but you only have two ways of dealing mind control. So you would be using this you can use because it has a big AoE. The speed reduction is not that impressive, though, if you want to go with double. So yeah, like maybe you can go with two red, Shadow Strike and Basic Enhancer, or this one. Whatever is fine. Wicked Slasher is not gonna be useful if you don't go pure. That's a shame. And this is also viable because if you increase your speed, you're going to attack more. So it is fine to go with this exact same build, but instead of two blue supporters, you go with two red supporters. So yeah, that's about it for this video about Oboro. As you can see, Oboro is now really, really busted as a debuffer. But she is still squishy. But she doesn't care about being squishy anymore because she has the means to just avoid damage now. She still lacks HP recovery on her kit, and as usual, Gremor is giving us that HP recovery on a weapon so that we roll, and that's bad, but at least it's usable and useful. So I'll allow it. I mean, I don't have any options, right? I prefer weapons to be an added benefit rather than a key element. If they become a key element to normal gameplay, not just a specific strategy, to normal gameplay, then that's bad. So, yeah. I mean, technically, you don't need the HP recovery if you play Oboro correctly, and you can rely on actives that have HP recovery. Let's say like Misaki, for example. You want to use Misaki because she's generally good as a damage dealer, so you can use Misaki. Let's see. You can rely on regen effects like both Kiararas, red and blue Kiararas are fine. You can also rely on Susune. It's amazing if you use it on the main. You can rely on Akina. I mentioned that you can build her as a tank, so it is okay to use Akina if you go with the tank build. And yeah, that's about it. She's now a debuffer. What do you think about it, guys? I mean, in my opinion, it's pretty good. Because of just how much control you gain over the enemy with mind control. Even though the duration is short, it really, really makes a difference because the enemy do not move at all. So yeah, it's fine that the duration is not that long because it's balanced. And on red, hypnosis still lasts 8 seconds. That's a lot, considering what it does. And remember, the cooldown is going to be 14 seconds, so your downtime on red is going to be what, like 6 seconds? Yeah, 6 seconds. Then you have other skills, so if you rotate between your skills, the enemy is not going to be able to move, and that's nice. So, well, that's about it for today, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!